it's a fine line between drinking wine and squashing grapes in this business. It's a limited number of plays or sequences that can really change the trajectory of an outcome. We're still the same group that stunk it up last week. That's football.
Yo, what's up? It's Chris Sims. It's Chris Sims Unbuttoned. Connor Rogers is here. It's Monday. We live on YouTube. That's where we are. That's my man, Mike Tomlin, one of the greatest linguists in all of the NFL, the greatest messenger ever, right? I mean, I had a chance to be with him in Tampa Bay when he was a secondary coach there under Monty Kiffin. And
was he the same way?
He very much.
Yeah, I could see that.
Raheem Morris was his assistant secondary coach, right? We had Rod Marinelli, who was, the coach of the Lions when they were 0-16, but was one of the better defensive minds you would have found in football for a long time.
It's an insane staff.
An insane staff. It really is. I think I'm missing it. Gus Bradley was there.
That's ridiculous.
Right? It is crazy. There's other ones Joe Woods, who's been a D coordinator in the NFL. We had a lot of guys there, but Mike Tomlin was always magical with the players, and he can do it in a way where he could be tough on his guys, but they knew he loved them, right?
Yeah.
So he had a way, I always say, the magic touch of, he could be a jerk and get his point across, but the players weren't like, hey, this guy's always a jerk to me. It's always negative. It's always down. Because then he had a great way of propping everybody up. And we had a thing, too, where Gruden would give the assistant coaches maybe a quarter of the year to be like, hey, when we start the team meeting, you run the meeting at first for a little bit. Right, run the meeting. I've been up here every day.
Right,
you kind
different
of give
voice.
them a new message, right? And Mike Tomlin, he was the fourth quarter gangster, which is what he was. Like the last 4 games of the year, he would usually take that role then. And his messaging, the things he'd say before practice and all that was motivating and incredible. It really was.
Which is kind of wild because what was he, 32 back then?
Yeah,
I'm guessing, but he had to be
something
early
like
30s.
That. Right. It was early 30s. Yeah, one of my last years in Tampa was one of his last years before he goes to become the defensive coordinator in Minnesota for 1 year before he gets the head coach. One of those guys that was and you know this being around football, you meet an assistant coach and you're just like, he's a head coach.
You could tell
right,
quickly.
He's a head coach. He's got the personality, the charisma, the ability to control a room, and that's where I like Mike Tomlin. He makes a great point. We know this league right now it's close. It's close. Yeah, they got blown out by Green Bay last weekend. Yeah, but like he said, 1 or 2 plays, and we see games can change just on that. And that's where the trade deadline coming up tomorrow and all that.
Big move this morning already.
Yeah, I know. Big move this morning with Jalen Phillips. But the league right now, as close as it is, plays and playmakers are where winning you games. And we saw that again yesterday, and that's where I think this trade deadline could be really exciting coming tomorrow.
This is our Monday morning show. We are live every Monday at 10 a.m. on YouTube. Of course, you could watch the podcast after, but if you're in the chat, we'll get some of your questions in as well. Chris and I are going to recap every single game. Chris, we've talked about the week of the favorites, the week of the underdogs, the week of balance. Upset Sunday, 5 of the 12 underdogs won. Didn't cover. Straight up won the game. 9 games were decided by 1 score. 4 games had a game-winning score in the final minute or overtime. So this was just a thrilling Sunday,
1
honestly.
p.m. was awesome.
It was the ultimate, anything can happen kind of 1 p.m. slate.
Without question. We had defensive struggles. We had high-flying offensive affairs. We had special teams plays. I mean, it really had it all. It was one of the better 1 o'clock days of the year so far. With the games, the exciting plays, all that. The only tough thing about a 1 o'clock window like that is there was 8 games going on.
Sure.
So you're like, holy crap, what did I miss? Hey, you're yelling out across the room, how did they get down here? I missed these 2 plays, whatever. But nonetheless, awesome, exciting, and the NFL very rarely fails to deliver in that department.
And it's been a season of parity. There is no one-loss team left through Week 9. That is for the first time since 2010.
Yeah.
So you talk about, and I remember a theme that you and I were discussing in August. You kept saying was maybe the year of the middle class. And ultimately, when you look at the standings right now, even the teams that are really, really good record-wise, as you see the Colts lose to the Steelers yesterday, the middle class is really what's at large here.
It definitely is. It felt like a year going into the year, and I appreciate you giving me credit for that. It's just that it was whoa, there's a lot of teams I could see going to the playoffs this year. That was kind of my thing I kept saying. Like,
we struggled with the over-under win totals.
Teams like with the Colts. We were like, I could see the Colts going to the playoffs. I don't know if I have the guts to pick it, but there's a lot on their team to like and see that there. So I feel like there was a lot of those type of teams that we discussed. And, the Chiefs and the Bills, we know are on the one of the top-tier teams of the AFC. The AFC wide open. The NFC is super talented, as we've talked about. It does. It feels like a year where there's more teams that could win the Super Bowl maybe than ever before.
And that's where we start, is with the Bills win over the Chiefs 28-21, a win that I understand we still view them as a really good team, but with losses to New England, a loss to Atlanta, it felt like the Bills needed this to kind of remind themselves, like, oh, no, we're a Super Bowl contender for a reason.
Right.
The Buffalo's 5th straight regular season win versus the Chiefs. I think a lot of people forget that because of the playoff lack of success against them. But Josh Allen is now 5-1 against Mahomes in the regular season, 0-4 in the playoffs. So this is something we've seen already before, Chris, and it repeats again in 2020.
Right, and I'd like keep that graphic up there, all right, because that's another thing there too. So like Buffalo, okay, the guy we're seeing in this picture here, Josh Allen is one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of football. Period. Like, I hope everybody realizes we're watching John Elway. And this is the stuff that went around John. Well, he can't win the big game. He can't win the big game. And, to my defense has always been the team's all Josh Allen or too much Josh Allen. Look at this graphic here. All right, yeah, the offense isn't faltering in the playoffs. What's faltering? In the regular season, the Bills let up 20 points per game. When it gets to the playoffs, they let up 34 points a game and cause no turnovers. The offense actually plays better and scores more points in the postseason. But when the defense is letting up 34 points to the other team, you're not going to win those football games. But either way, they're never going to get this monkey off their back until they win the one in the playoffs.
You just have to.
Right.
Like, it stinks, but nobody reacts like this, like, oh, the Bills beat the Chiefs. Like, everyone's like, well, let's see them do it in the win.
I know, and that question is still real. I get that, and 100%. And, my point, too, is the Chiefs got to help him out. Josh Allen did everything he possibly could do with the 13-second game. Josh Allen did everything he could do last year, and there was the controversial quarterback sneak and the spotting of the ball and all of that. So, he's done what he has to do. Now it's time for Buffalo to help him a little bit. And yesterday, and we've seen this in the regular season, that's what we saw. I mean, that they come off the bye week, and they needed to remind me of how good they were because I was a team guy that was like, I'm down on it. I'm still one that sits here and goes, no, I'm going to take the Patriots to win the AFC East, but the Bills, the way they played the last 2 weeks, have scared me a little.
Yeah.
And it feels like, what did they do? They went to the bye week. We kind of talked about this last week. They looked at it, and they said, wait, we're running the ball really good. Why are we not running the ball more? And it feels like that's been the point of emphasis. So now you run the ball. You do that. And, of course, James Cook is he's awesome. Josh Allen and him are both awesome. You have that. You run the ball. You stay patient with that. And then Josh Allen, who was on fire yesterday and hitting all the bullseyes, but also some of those guys are wide open because Kansas City's like, oh, shit, we got to stop the run game and James Cook.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see what they've done on the offensive side of the ball with really making the run game the primary factor on the offensive side of the ball, and I think that's only going to help him down the stretch here.
A tale of two totally different games from the quarterbacks. Mahomes, a career-worst 44.1 completion percentage. Josh Allen, not a franchise record 88.5 completion percentage. He was surgical in this game, and he was well protected and protected himself with the way he can move, where, Chris, it felt like every time Mahomes had to kind of move the pocket or readjust, there was just not a lot there for him.
Well, it became just a drop-back pass game all the time. It's just what Buffalo wants. This is what we've talked about, right? You've heard me say it, right? Buffalo, when they have to worry about stopping the run, that's when they're in trouble. When they go, oh, wait, all they're going to do is pass the ball? McDermott's like, I got 97 million coverages, and we are drop out here. We'll blitz this guy. We'll do that. And that plays right into their hands. So, yes, them getting the lead in the football game, and then Kansas City not traditionally being a consistent running the ball football team, that played to Buffalo. Buffalo's built to beat Kansas City. For this is we know Kansas City's never been a great running football team. The defense looked like a little bit like we talked about in the early part of Washington, Kansas City last week. No quick passes were there early on in the football game. There was nothing there. There was a lot of plays on Mahomes like, oh, wait, I want to throw it. Oh, somebody's there. Oh, let me hold it. Nobody's open. Oh, I have to get sacked or I throw the ball away. There was a ton of that in the football game. We're definitely going to do a deep dive on that. I got to watch the film and see what they did, right?
I'll give you the early coverage numbers
Yeah,
for
go
the
ahead.
Bills. They really balanced it out. They ran cover 1 20% of the game, threw a little cover 2 at them with the 2 high safeties about 9% of the game. The one that sticks out to me, though, Chris, is that they ran cover 6 13 times, 22%. So they were trying to – it's weird to say confuse Mahomes because I don't really think Mahomes gets confused, but make him think an extra second with the split field coverages.
Change it up.
And then allow the
half.
pass rush to beat up on an offensive line that's – they're running out of bodies.
Well, exactly right. Beat up that way. But that's what's scary about Buffalo. Because when you get into that, they call these coverages, and McDermott's very creative in how he coaches it. And, like I've said before, sometimes I go, I don't even know what this coverage is. He's just got all the freaking guys dropping right where Mahomes or whatever offense is trying to throw the football. So the defense was impressive. Of course, the offense was impressive. This is a Kansas City Chiefs team that you've heard me say their defense is not as good as years past. It's not the same. Their offense is going to have to carry the burden a little bit more here this year as compared to maybe the last 3 years when they've gone to the Super Bowl, right? Ever since that Eagles win in the Super Bowl, I feel like they've gotten progressively a little worse on defense each year. You've heard me say this year, I think, they're in the transition of becoming, I think, an offensive football team almost to a degree. And, they didn't hold up their end of the bargain yesterday. And what I want to see, too, is did Mahomes get – one of Mahomes' kryptonites at times can be – oh, no, they're making plays, they're doing good, and then he starts to pass up easy completions and look for the big play. That's the only thing I'm interested in. But, man, a lot of replays I saw, I was like, ooh, people don't look open. And then, of course, he had people around him and making him, uncomfortable in the pocket on top of that, and then that leads to numbers that you just don't ever see in Kansas City. 3 for 13 on third down with Patrick Mahomes. He's arguably like the greatest third down quarterback in the history of football. 3 for 13. 44.1% completion percentage. Never before. 15 hits in the pocket. Rousseau, right? Joey Bosa all over him all game. I mean, those were things that we're just not used to seeing happen in Kansas City, and it was a big-time performance by Buffalo.
And check this out. 7 dropbacks for quick game with Mahomes.
Right, what was it?
He was 2 for 4 for 11 yards.
Yeah.
He was sacked twice on them, and only one of them was a screen. Another pass was broken up, and he had a turnover-worthy play.
That's where it starts right now in Kansas City. Take away the short passing game. That's what they became good at. So this is what everybody's going to look at. Now they got to find something else to combat that a little bit here. He was fortunate in the Commanders game that they're not good on defense, and he could buy time, and people came open down the football field. But this was a different animal last night with Buffalo. And that's where, Kansas City, I wonder if they'll try to make a move at the trade deadline.
I was going to ask, Brandon Beane or Brett Veach, who has more pressure on them to make a move?
I know. Probably Brandon Beane. Really,
I would agree, too, because you just got to get over the hump this year. Like, it's there for the taking.
It's there for the taking. I think you can look at it and go, hey, there's some defensive guys out there that might be able to help them. I don't think Buffalo needs an offensive guy necessarily. Right? If they're going to continue to run the ball and stay dedicated to like this, they'll be fine on the offensive side of the ball. It's the defensive playmakers that I worry about. It's that graphic I just showed you where they let up 34 points a game in the playoffs and do stuff like that against the Kansas City Chiefs. Maxwell Harrison being back, that was big. Yeah. Because that gives him another cover body.
You just see the way he can run with speed threats.
He's He's the only guy in their secondary. You go, he can run with Xavier Worthy or Rasheed Rice down the field. It's not going to be a problem. Do they make a move like that? I don't know. But yes,
Michael Hoyt torn Achilles.
That hurts for certainly.
So,
right? Yeah,
that was a guy that came back with some juice.
Right, the versatile big guy who can really do it all. I mean, Hoyt can play D tackle, D end, stand up linebacker. I mean, he's got it all there. But I can't one more time. Josh Allen is amazing. I just hope everybody realizes. I feel like there's going to be a faction of people that need to see him hold a Super Bowl, and they're going to go, yeah, he is amazing. And I'm just trying to, we're watching Elway, Marino. It's that kind of guy here. That's what we're watching. Yeah, we already know Mahomes is in Brady and Montanaville and Terry Bradshaw. We got that. But this guy that he played yesterday, Josh Allen, is right there with him. And he needs his team to help him a little bit, like Mahomes' teams has helped him a little in certain situations to get over the hump. And I just don't feel like that's been there. But, man, running the ball like that, playing D the way they're playing there, they've come out after the bye week with 2 really, really impressive wins. And, making me rethink my assessment of them, and where they stand in the AFC.
The homies chiming in here on a Monday morning. Schnarbar says Joey Bosa looks like a legit difference maker in that defense.
Right.
Zach Louis said, will the Bills defense be able to sustain this after the loss of Michael Hoyt, who was killing it?
Yeah, that's what I worry about too, right? And again, what I do worry about with, you lose Hoyt, you lost Ed Oliver. You've heard me talk about they're not a big defensive football team. They match up with the Chiefs, and that's where we got to keep this in mind here. That's what you got to remember. You can be better than a team in totality and have some teams where you go, oh, wait, that's not a good matchup for us. We could lose this game, right? And this is a team that has been built to beat the Chiefs, and they match up really well with them. The problem with the Bills is going to be a team that has a little more imbalance, like we've discussed, right? Like in New England, who can run the ball and then chuck the ball deep down the football field.
If Baltimore runs the table
If Baltimore runs the table. Again, we've seen them go 40 points and move the ball in the playoff game at will last year. So that'll be the big thing. But to the question there, and whether, Joey Bosa has been like surprisingly good. It's really good to see that. I'm happy for him.
Him staying healthy is probably one of the most important things to their team right now.
I think so.
Because he struggled to make it through the entirety of an NFL season for a while.
He was, what I was told is he took a more of an approach this year of being limber and loose and not being maybe so muscular. And he looks like that, right? He doesn't look quite as jacked, right? And as tight and tightly wound. And he's been really good that way. And Maxwell Harrison be back. Maybe he's another guy that can make plays in big moments for them. Again, Bills win. That's awesome, right? They're on the right track. I know they're one of the better teams in the AFC for sure, but there's like a few offenses I'd like to see them play against, I guess, to make me start to go, okay, their defense is real. They've got it figured out. They're doing the right things. And I'm just not there yet, but they're heading in the right direction.
There's no way that Kansas City misses the playoffs here, right? The record is so much different than the perception of the team.
I don't expect them to, no. I certainly wouldn't bet on that, but they got a schedule here.
Currently the 8th seed.
It's currently the 8th seed. They got to play the Broncos twice still.
That's huge.
They got to play the Colts right after the Broncos after the bye week. Right? The Houston Texans and the Chargers are still on their schedule. We've seen the Chargers beat them already. The Chargers can beat them. Here it is. The Houston Texans, as you hear me say every week, their defense is so good it can win them games almost by themselves. So that won't be easy. So, we're in a year here where we're seeing, the Chiefs have lost their late game magic. This is the third game this year where you go, oh, wait, close game. They usually pull this out. Oh, they didn't pull it out. And again, that's where I get into. I think they're in a transition here of their defense isn't going to win these games right now as much as it did the last 2 years. I think it is going to be no, Mahomes offense, you guys got to go down here and score a touchdown right now to win the game. You can't go, we're going to kick a field goal, our defense will make a stop, and we'll do that, which is the way they've won so many clutch games in the last few years. Yeah, I think it's a little different for them and how they're going to have to approach this.
One more crazy Josh Allen stat before we move on.
Yeah.
The fourth player ever with 6+ rushing touchdowns in each of his first 8 seasons. Listen to the company he's in. Jim Brown, Marshall Faulk, LaDainian Tomlinson.
That's insane.
That's it.
That's insane.
And he's a quarterback.
I'm surprised Cam Newton's not on that list. He'd have been one that I would have expected. Jalen Hurts will probably be on that list in another year or two because I would think he's there. But again, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say, Josh Allen is insane. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks ever already. I know he's got to win some Super Bowls for everybody to believe that, but he does things on the football field. What is the weakness of Josh Allen? When you get down to it, everybody, when I get in stupid conversations sometimes with people where I go, you don't know anything about the game, their rebuttal is, well, you didn't get to the Super Bowl yet. He can't beat Mahomes.
53 players on an NFL roster, by the way.
It's just that's the whole argument. And I understand it, but I don't understand it. I don't. And I don't. And then we're looking at a guy where you go through it and you go, what are the flaws of his game? He's one of the greatest running quarterbacks we've ever seen. His arm is maybe one of the greatest, if not the greatest arm we've ever seen. He can be surgical like we saw last night and run an offense and just be boom, boom, boom. He plays backyard football as good as anybody you've ever seen. right? He's a threat in goal line situations, quarterback runs. I mean, he's phenomenal. Everything about the Buffalo Bills is based around Josh Allen. And hopefully, a few more games like this, people will realize what we're watching here.
Our next game, this was the surprise of the week to me, Chris. Yeah. The Steelers beating the Colts 27-20. This game actually felt much further away than the score reflected. The Steelers' defense is the story of the game. They had 6 takeaways and 5 sacks. The Colts had 4 total turnovers in the first 8 games.
Right.
So this was completely unlike anything we've seen from them. Daniel Jones, a career-high 5 turnovers. He had the 3 picks and the 2 fumbles lost. This was the most takeaways in a single game for the Steelers since 2010.
Yeah, those defenses in 2009, 10, 11, they were special defenses.
James Harrison
Holy
specials,
crap. Yeah, they were scary getting ready for that group. But that's what we expected the Steelers to look like this year. I mean, again, I never thought they were going to be a top 5 defense in football, but I thought, hey, Aaron Rodgers will come. They'll be efficient on offense. He'll hit the open receivers, and their defense will be good and make plays like we always see kind of Pittsburgh do. But that was the first game this year we've kind of seen that. The 2 edge guys who are the guys that I look at to go, no, you guys got to make the big plays in the big moments. TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, even Nick Herbig behind him. Those are the guys that got to show up. Those are the guys that, at least to me, when I look at their defense, go, they can go above and beyond the playbook, right? That's the big thing. And they popped out in a big way yesterday. Also, I had said this in the viewing room earlier in the day, right? I was kind of like, I think, I know some people in football, and I know a bunch of people in Pittsburgh, and I was texting with one of them during the week. And not that they told me the game plan, but I got the sense they were going to change it up on defense. And I told the room that yesterday. I was like, I think Pittsburgh's going to play a little different. I was like, I don't know what that means.
Right.
I'm not trying to ask somebody their game plan, right? But they're going to change a little bit in their approach. That was what I was led to believe. And what it was in the game is they played zone the whole game. They played zone 70% of the snaps or something like that, right?
70%.
Season high. Right. And I think that was their changeup. They said, wait, why are we putting some of these guys on islands that are just not island corners anymore? So you do that. You play an offense that's got 90 million guys going different ways. What's zone defense do? Helps you keep your eyes on everything. Now, your back's not turned covering Tyler Warren or somebody like that, right? So you can see everything in front of you. Also within that, when you play zone defenses a lot of the time, hey, Daniel Jones, hey, Seth Hutt, he drops back. Oh, wait, what coverage is this? Hold on. He pats the ball one extra time. Oh, man, TJ Watt just knocked me out, right? That's what playing zone can do to you, too. Instead of the week before where Jordan Love's like, wait, I'm about to get hit. Oh, wait, I have a one-on-one. Let me just throw it up. Tucker Kraft catches it and then runs 60 yards. Or Christian Watson catches it, right? And the free safety's not deep enough and the other guy's getting beaten man-to-man coverage. So I think that approach was brilliant. They need to do that. They don't have the cover guys to play man-to-man 60% of the time. And that I think was the first thing that jumped out to me about the football game. And then the Colts doing some things that we just haven't seen them do
Making
this year.
mistakes.
Right.
They just really haven't made mistakes this year until yesterday.
You're not going to look at the Steelers' offense. I'm still going to sit here and go, that's got to be better.
Right.
I mean, again, we were the turnover ratio at one point was like 5-0, and it was like, wait, the Colts are driving at 17-7, right? Even with 5 turnovers, you're like, oh, they're driving. Like, it doesn't matter. They're moving the ball. And then I believe that was the Alex Highsmith strip sack maybe, and then they go down and make the game 24-7, and that's where it got a little out of hand as far as the score is concerned. But the game fell perfectly for Pittsburgh. Almost like I'm going to say with Buffalo is, I like where they're going, but am I sold it's all fixed? No, I'd like to see another game. I mean, it's 7-0 Colts. They go right down the field. Then Josh Downs drops the punt, or the punt hits him, right? And I know the Steelers didn't score on this next drive. They got stopped on the 4th and goal. I get that. But it still was a big play and a big moment for me as far as momentum was concerned, because it was a little bit like, whoa, the Colts went down the field easy. They made another stop. Aaron Rodgers and them are off the field again, and it looks like they're going to get the ball and get going. And that kind of just disrupted the flow of the football game a little bit. And then, of course, we saw the defense start to make some plays.
It really was more of the same for the Steelers offense. Rodgers, 5.6 yards per attempt.
Right.
His average time to throw, 2.33 seconds. They're not going to probably change who they are in that aspect, Chris. It's just that it's balls out real quick game. I just think if you're going to play that way, it feels like they need one more playmaker on this offense. It's very hard to live this way against, and they beat the Colts. Like, credit to an amazing defensive performance.
Yep, I hear you.
But the story with the Steelers is, can they win a playoff game this year?
Yes.
It feels like they need one more guy in that offense.
I don't disagree. I mean, I don't disagree. I'll be interested to see if they make that aggressive type move.
Right.
They've done some things this year in the offseason. Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, more years of guaranteed money for TJ Watt and his contract, where those aren't normal Steelers things.
Right. Cam Hayward, I think, got more money
Cam Hayward,
again.
a little more sprinkle on the pot that way. So, yeah, will they do something? I'll be interested as well. They're a playoff caliber team, right? But, yeah, the defense has got to look the way it did yesterday. And I know Rodgers and that's going to be efficient, but, like, to your point, it's hard work all the time to play that way.
It feels that way.
It is hard work. And you heard me say it last week. I mean, somebody tell me the last time you saw Aaron Rodgers drop back and throw a deep in cut on rhythm, or everything is here, here, here. Oh, I scrambled a little or a bootleg. Boom, I did that. There's not a lot of in the pocket, work the middle of the field type of passes in their offense. So it's just hard to survive that way. But their defense did a lot of good things yesterday, and, I mean, damn, all those turnovers, I don't care who you are, you got a good chance to win when you cause 6 turnovers.
How about this take from K Gemma 89? The case for JT as MVP is made in that game. For those wanting to give Daniel Jones MVP votes, the Steelers took away JT and put the game on Daniel Jones and stopped putting their old DBs on an island.
Yeah, there's a lot to it there. There's no doubt. They did not let Jonathan Taylor get going, and, of course, them getting the lead, it hurt that even more, because then I think, Indianapolis felt the urgency to let's drop back and throw the ball and do stuff like that. I hear you there. And the one of the other great underlying things of the football game, too, the Steelers did a great job of getting their hands up and tipping passes. There was a number of times where when you play some of these great offenses, you can't stop everything. You can't. And this is one of those offenses that's kind of like that, to where you go, wait, sometimes they're so creative and they get people open so quickly, 5 and 6 yards down the middle of the field. The only way to stop it is either you better have some unreal cover corners, or D linemen got to get their hands up.
Right.
And that seemed like it was on the radar of the Steelers from the get-go yesterday in the football game. There was even a play, a 1 point, Daniel Jones had a few balls batted where I went, ooh, that would have been complete. That might have been a big play, but the Steelers were able to do that and disrupt everything.
Another surprise of the day, the Vikings beating the Lions 27-24 in J.J. McCarthy's return, where he had 3 total touchdowns for the second time in 3 NFL starts. The Vikings' first win against Detroit since 2022. They were on a 5-game drought.
That's crazy,
against
right?
the Lions before this. Detroit outrushed 142 yards to 65. That's the fewest for the Lions since week 1. Really,
that's the stat of the day.
Right. This game, it's funny because McCarthy returns. He did some good things. He did some bad things.
Right.
But it feels like everything around him was the bigger story between the run game and the defense.
I think that's what I look at. I mean, JJ made some big throws.
The one at the end was...
And he was right.
Yeah,
definitely. And even then early on, the touchdown throw right on the money, right? Justin Jefferson catches with one hand, but the ball was on money. I mean, it was right where it needed to be. And I had said this to Florio earlier today. I don't think there was a quarterback under more pressure yesterday than J.J. McCarthy. Everybody's going, wait, is he the guy? What should we do? Or should they trade for Kirk Cousins? I mean, there's been everything out there. Are they starting Carson Wentz with a broken shoulder over him because they don't trust J.J. McCarthy? Right? There was all this stuff out there. So, yeah, for him to come in yesterday and, not be perfect, but made the big plays when he had to. I think would be the theme, right? That's the encouraging thing. He was decisive in his throws. When he saw something, he let it rip. That's what I liked a lot. But I think still the story of the day is what you're talking about. It's like the Detroit Lions couldn't run the football. The Vikings did run the football. Yeah. The Vikings defense showing up. The Lions going 5 for 17 on 3rd down. I mean, Jared Goff was under duress
the entire
and especially in the obvious passing situations. Flores took the approach of get him off the spot, right? You've heard that whole thing?
Yeah.
That was definitely the approach. Get him off the spot.
He's uncomfortable.
He's not that kind of guy, right? He's kind of a statue. He's the Statue of Liberty back there throwing. And when he does that, he's hard to beat. But they took the approach of, let's blitz inside, let's double A gap blitz, let's get people in his face to where he can't throw in rhythm. And how many times did you see him move and try to throw or move and try to readjust his body? And that's not what Jared Goff is good at. And that led to errant throws, sacks, whatever. Defense gets off the field. So, yeah, Minnesota, it was, to me, a really big team win. That's the biggest thing I looked at. I mean, the first touchdown, right? They make it 7-7. Great kick return or punt return set it up. So they had only to go at 5-play, 36-yard drive, right? David Montgomery breaks that little run backed up. They strip him, get the ball. Short field touchdown there, right? So that's where I look at it and go, run game, defense showed up, defense got off the field, all that. It was a great total win there. And this is the thing we thought we were going to see from Minnesota this year, a little bit more of a run game presence. Hopefully now, with J.J. McCarthy, knowing he's young and you're not going to just be able to throw it 45 times and carry it, they play this style of football and can be more successful running the football.
Yeah, just a recipe for disaster for the Detroit offense. Goff was pressured on almost 48% of his dropbacks. That's the third highest pressure rate he's had in a game with Detroit.
Right.
15 of the pressures came under 2.5 seconds. So that's the most quick pressures he's faced once again since he's been with Detroit. And how about this one, Chris?
Yeah.
When you go to the run game, Jahmyr Gibbs' yards before contact per attempt.
I mean, they were in the backfield.
Negative 0.2 yards. He was hit basically every time he touched the ball in the backfield.
Yeah,
behind the line of scrimmage.
They won the battle up front. There's no question about that. That was a big win. That Minnesota, after a loss like they had last Thursday night, looking like crap against the Chargers. The Lions, who we're thinking, man, they're starting to look like they're regaining their form. They're one of the best, if not the best team in the NFC. Woo, that didn't look good yesterday. No doubt about that. And even on top, Vikings get a field goal block. It was everything on the Vikings yesterday. Huge win for them. Way to go, Brian Flores, defensive coordinator. Way to go, Kevin O'Connell going, wait, I got a rookie quarterback. I can't throw the ball 40 times. I know he's in his second year, but he's kind of a rookie still. And to get the run game going, that'll be huge for them going forward.
Yeah, a healthy Aaron Jones, probably one of the more underappreciated aspects for this team as well. El Segundo weighs in and says Goff was way more comfortable in last year's offense.
It's Ben Johnson's kind of special.
I mean, you watch the Bears, it's real.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not that the Lions offense has not been good. Are they as scary as they were last year? No, they're not. They're not. There's a reason their offense with all that talent's 8, and hold on, let me make sure I got that right. Their offense with all that talent, is 11. The Bears, who have good talent, but I'm not going to say it's the Lions' talent, they're number 4 in football.
I mean,
and that's because of one guy, in my opinion, and that's Ben Johnson, because he's special. Ben Johnson is special. John Morton's done a really good job, but Ben Johnson does things where you just go, whoa. I mean, there was 4 different people that threw a pass yesterday in Cincinnati for the Chicago Bears, right? Like trick plays and all that are a normal part of his offense.
Yeah.
They're a normal part.
Right.
We saw it in Detroit the last 2 years, but I don't disagree with that comment there. Yeah, I think he was more comfortable last year.
All right, the Panthers with one of those upsets. They beat the Packers 16-13. Ryan Fitzgerald game-winning 49-yard field goal as the clock hits 0 for Carolina, the second NFL team since 1970 to have a winning record through 9 games, despite being an underdog in every single game. The 2001 Browns started 6-4. They unfortunately finished 7-9 and missed the playoffs. And Chris, Dave Canales is looking around and saying, I got to ride the hot hand. I got to go with what wins us football games. And that man is Rico Dowdle right now.
I mean, he's a player. I mean, we know that. He's a bell cow. It all starts with that right there. I mean, their run game takes over. Their pass game, was really nothing special yesterday. It was a defensive, run-the-ball type of game. And on top of that, it's just, I wouldn't be being real with myself. It's just Green Bay not being consistent, being stupid, being sloppy in big moments, whatever you want to say. I mean, you can just go on and on. It's missed field goals. What were they, 1-5? 1 for 5 in the red zone?
That's exactly right.
1 for 5 in the red zone with all that talent they got there. They lose Tucker Kraft probably for the year with a torn ACL.
Right.
That happens. Savion Williams fumbles in the red zone. They're going down to score, right? So they blow that opportunity. Jordan Love throwing a stupid interception up. Triple coverage. Morey gets it, gets a good return, short field. Touchdown for the Carolina Panthers off of that. I mean, you really look at it and you go, Carolina had one legit drive the whole game.
Right.
Everything else was kind of set up by their defense or Green Bay doing dumb, stupid stuff on the offensive side of the ball. And, yeah, again, Carolina, credit to them and all of that, right? I still am not going to sit here and tell you I think they're one of the top teams in the NFC. They're hanging around. The more of the story to me is just the Packers not being able to play consistent high-level football week in and week out or even 4 quarters of a football game. And that, to me, is the problem with the Packers right now going forward here.
It's kind of been the story. When you look at the loss to the Browns, this kind of felt like that all over again. With them. Like, I feel like I was watching a similar game.
Packers game, Browns game, they messed up, and Jordan Love in the interception late, where you're just like, hey, it's not pretty today, but you're going to win the game. Just don't mess it up. The Cowboys game, some of the stuff they did at the end of the half, we just heard Mike Tomlin say, hey, 1 or 2 plays, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, that's what happened at the end of the half of the Cowboys game. They do that, right? So that was a tie football game where you felt like, hey, they're the better team on the field, and they messed some things up to let the Cowboys hang around. And then, of course, yesterday. Yeah, yesterday was not good. Not good at all. And that's where, Jordan Love, who can make some unbelievable plays and play at a level like we saw last week on Sunday night where you go, wow, 20 completions in a row, just totally torching the Steelers defense. And then there's days yesterday where, yeah, it's big play here. Oh, it's a big play there. But just not consistently surgical enough to make it all happen. And then, of course, to me, you're in a defensive football game. Recognize the game. It's like the Browns game.
Right.
It's a defensive football game. This is not the game we throw the jump ball up into triple coverage, right? We're up 7-6. They're not really moving the ball. Or they're down 7-6, excuse me. Just stay the course and believe that you're better and that if you just keep to play consistent, clean football, your better team will win out. And that, to me, is where he messed up a little yesterday.
On the Packers' first 6 possessions, no touchdowns, 2 turnovers. They're averaging 9.5 points a game in the first half this season. That's 26th in the NFL.
That's crazy.
In the second half, they're averaging almost 16 in the second half. That's the most in the NFL.
Right.
Why the slow starts?
I don't have an answer for you.
Right.
I don't know.
It's perplexing with all the talent they have and the coaching they have and the quarterback they have.
Exactly right. No,
look at the Arizona game. They could
they
have
had
easily
moments
lost
like
to Jacoby
that, too.
Brissett.
No, I don't think they've had a full 4-quarter game yet. Like I said, they've had some halves that have been good. It's like, oh, that quarter was good, this quarter was good, but then the other 2 quarters of the game weren't all that good. So, yeah, they got to figure that out. But they are too good to be having these dull moments on the offensive side of the ball. They also got stopped. I forgot this, too. They got down inside the 10 and went for it on a 4th and goal from the 7 or 8.
Yeah, it was shocking.
Right. That was another one. And again, to where I want to go, coaches, we got to stop acting like we know the future of the game. Like, I know McManus hasn't been great this year, but that was a chip shot field goal.
Right.
Let's just get points. Let's get some more positive things. It was a defensive football game. That's what we were talking about here. So that I don't understand either, and that's something that you certainly can question LaFleur on a little bit.
Viking fan 284 weighs in. How has it been so difficult for Green Bay's offense to get back to the level they hit in the second half of 2023?
I know. Well, last year, Jordan Love with the injuries and all that were a problem, right? The run game was very good last year. That didn't hurt. But I think the injuries of Jordan Love last year kind of just were all over the place with his play. So it was inconsistent. This year, it feels a little the same way. Now, I think some of the injuries at wide receiver have hurt them. And then I think the other big thing is, Jordan Love, who's playing better than last year, but still, like we're talking about, having moments where you go, wait, you're too good. You've played too much ball now to make that mistake. So there's that. But they haven't run the ball at the same rate we saw them run last year or that second half of 2023. Their offensive line's certainly not been as dominant as I expected it to be.
Yeah, and Josh Jacobs might have been a little banged up, although he came back in the game. It was Emmanuel Wilson for a little bit at the time, but the Tucker Kraft injury is one that's not going away. Awful.
We just
for
talked
Green
about
Bay.
him last week.
One of the game-changing tight ends.
I think he's the best tight end in football right now.
Without a doubt. Matt LaFleur just said it doesn't look good. We're going to take our first break. When we're back, we're talking some big wins for these sophomore quarterbacks right after this. It's time for Gimme the Headlines, presented by Hyundai. Yes, you're gonna put on the magic hat here, Chris, and really come up with the good stuff. The first, before we do that, the 2024 first-round quarterbacks during Week 9 was really the story of this week. Besides the underdogs, I mean,
every time they all played on the same day. Isn't that funny?
Insane. Well, because McCarthy's probably been out so much for it, right? And then, that is interesting. Look at these performances, by the way. Drake May's been amazing this year. We know that. But Caleb Williams went off in that wild game. That's where we're going to start. Michael Penix, we're going to get into Atlanta. It's just been a rocky road for them, or up and down.
Yeah, their offense isn't that great.
I thought McCarthy was better than expected.
Definitely.
Going into that game.
Right. And he made the big plays in the big moments. That's the number one thing.
That's Bo Nix's season right now.
He's Johnny Clutch.
Oh, my God. 3 quarters, and you're like, what the hell is going on? And it's the fourth quarter. Oh, Bo Nix time.
It is,
again.
It's
remarkable.
It is.
Remarkable.
This is a special class. And, of course, we don't even have Jaden Daniels on there here. And
maybe the best of all of them.
Right. So it's a rare class of 6 guys where you go, ooh, they all have physical talent, and you like that, but you all of them, you go, they all know how to play quarterback.
Right.
And that's where, to me, it separates itself from some other classes that we've seen be very talented.
Our first one, the Bears beat the Bengals 47-42 in a game that just would not die. What's the headline for this one, Chris?
Trick and treat.
Both.
Halloween weekend, Hollow weekend, whatever the hell the kids are calling it this week.
Trunk
my son
treat
said one time, my son goes, it's Hollow weekend. And I was like, what? He's like, you've never heard that before? I was like, no, I haven't.
So we called it in college.
Okay, you did.
Because you'd party for 3 days in costume, so it was Hollow weekend.
I got you.
After college, I don't call it that anymore.
Yeah. And I definitely don't call it that at 45. But either way, yes. We were just talking about it a little bit ago. Ben Johnson and their offense and what he does for them, right? Caleb Williams continues to trend in an upward direction. Is he running that offense probably perfectly the way Ben Johnson wants it? No, not yet. Not yet. I know that. Caleb is still, I think, going through the mental gymnastics of playing in the pocket, throwing the ball on rhythm, following the rules of a in-depth, lots of rules passing offense where he's just like, wait, I just been able to scramble and make plays happen my whole career. Wait, you want me to read this guy and throw it on time? How dare you? I don't have to do that. But he's getting there. He is. And then not only the other thing with Ben Johnson, 4 different people throwing the ball with the trick plays, right? It's also the run game. He's a run game specialist. He's special that way, too, as far as DeAndre Swift's not in there. Oh, they might not be able to run the ball well. Oh, Kyle Monungai.
7th rounder, Kyle Monungai.
Just moving the ball all over the place. So their offense is going to have to keep the pedal on the metal because, as you can see, their defense is not very good. And Joe Flacco, at his age, can still throw that damn ball. And with those 2 receivers, they're scary. That's for sure. It's just a shame their defense is absolutely horrible as well.
576 total yards for the Bears offense. That's the most in a game for them since December 1980 against the Packers. Cincinnati, oh boy, this is a brutal one. The first team since 1966, the Giants that year, to lose consecutive games despite scoring 38-plus points in each. This is now 3 games with 500-plus yards allowed. The rest of the NFL, the entire league, has allowed 2.
That's incredible.
I think that's the stat of the year.
It is to this point, a degree.
I mean, this almost seems impossible. And if you think me and him are disgusted sitting here listening to On the Desk, listen to Chase Brown and Jamar Chase, who have nothing left to hold back.
I'm going to stay in my lane. I don't want no defensive player come and chew me out about what the I'm doing.
We know how they can play. They played really well at the start of the season. Like, they did. And they were carrying us on their back. So, now that we're stepping up, I think we just got to play complementary football. Like, we put the ball in the end zone and go up a point at the end, finish the game. Like, just end it. Like, that's it. Like, that's what we need to do. Just end the game. Like,
that's as blunt as I've seen a player this season. I don't really think anybody can blame him.
No, no, definitely
probably not what you want to do,
right? But that's the obvious
boiled up.
Thing. Yeah, the defense isn't going to be like, "How dare you say that?" Right? They know it. He might have one defensive guy that goes over and just says, "Hey, man, you don't need to say that like out loud to everybody." Right. But yeah, it's the worst defense in football. Period. And I think what's amazing to me, or one of the under the radar amazing things about the football game, is there was some true like mental gymnastics the Bears had to go through. The Bears, by all due accounts, we thought were going to be up 48-27.
Right, with the
interception, Terrell Edmonds, right? The fingertip touched him on the way to the ground. Even the ball, even though the catch isn't completed until he survives the ground, the fact that he's touching the ball and a finger's touching him, now he's down on contact, right? There's the loophole there and that whole thing there.
Ridiculous.
The game's so I always say that, and Pete Demolitolitis hears me say it every Sunday. I go, it's not a catch yet, but they're going to call him down before it's a catch and say he was down there even though the catch isn't completed yet. Okay, but whatever. Either way, that, yes, was a big moment because they get the pick six touchdown and you're like, game over. Instead, the defense, everybody, hey, game's over. They're all celebrating. It's like, no, now you got to go back. Now they score a touchdown, and it's like, oh, crap, now it's 41-35.
Right.
And then they get the onside kick.
Yep.
Right. And you get the onside kick, and they go right down and score. And for a team that's young like the Bears and still finding their way, like, man, I feel like that would have crushed a lot of teams.
Sure.
And the fact that they have Caleb Williams, who's borderline cocky, that can be on the sidelines and go, they left us too much time. Don't try to do too much. They left us too much time, right? That says something about him. And it says something about their offensive attitude right now that they just go, we can move the ball on anybody. And, of course, they come up with some big plays and the clutch moments.
And I think one of the louder things in the Chicago media area and amongst the fan base is, like, when is Colston Loveland going to make a play we expect for a top 15 to make a play? Right. And he had his moment of the season because he was playing for a field goal and they score a touchdown. You're like, oh, it's really over now.
It's amazing. Yeah, and the spotlight's on him because everybody's watching Tyler Warren going, wait, the guy that got drafted behind you is balling out. You're not doing that. But yes, the clutchness of them, and you know, again, like you heard me say with Caleb Williams, he's not surgical yet. He's not perfect. I understand that. But he's still one of the elite playmakers in the sport. That's the other thing too. And here we are. This is the third time we're talking about you got to make plays, got to have playmakers. And that's something that Chicago does have on the offensive side of the ball. And, of course, he leads the charge in that department. The 3rd and 10 scramble was wowing.
Man. To cut that back in.
Oh, my gosh. He had a few runs in the game that were wowing. Like, it's like, wow, is that a third down running back or is that a quarterback, right? And then, of course, the throw down the middle. Just laser right down the middle, puts it on the money, allows Loveland to protect himself, and then he can bounce off the hit and run in for a touchdown. Yeah, that was one of the most amazing moments of the day yesterday.
In a game, they were able to run at will with their backup running back, 7th-rounder Kyle Monungai, 26 carries, 176 yards, and oh, how the turntables, Chris. Check this out. Last season, the Bengals sent a 2025 7th-round draft pick to the Bears in exchange for Khalil Herbert. The Bears used that pick on Kyle Monungai, who had 176 rushing yards on 26 carries against the Bengals today. That is from Sleeper Bengals on Twitter. It's in the NFL, like even the most harmless of trades, and
you better watch out.
They find a way to get you. On the other side of this for the Bengals, I know it's a brutal loss again, but Joe Flacco, the most passing yards by any quarterback this season, 470. He's the oldest quarterback to throw for 470 plus yards ever in the history
and everybody
of the game.
goes like, wait, what about Tom Brady? And it's like, no, he actually did not. At this age, I know he had some games that were in the 400s, but he never threw for 470 or more. So Joe Flacco, this is the second time in 3 weeks we're going to talk about. He's one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the history of the sport. He's way better than people realize in his prime. He was stuck on a team that was about the defense first, so he had to play quarterback. It's not always easy to play quarterback in that situation, but you see what he can do. I mean, he can still stand in there, and he's one of those guys that you've heard me talk about this, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, John Elway, Tom Brady. Josh Allen will be like this. Matthew Stafford. When they're 60, they're going to be able to still throw the ball. And you're going to go, oh, my gosh, you throw the ball like an NFL starting quarterback. They're never going to lose it the way their arm is and the way their mechanics are. So, awesome for Joe Flacco. And, damn, I mean, why wouldn't you play another year if you're still playing like this?
Did you know that was the first time in his career he's thrown for 400 yards? I did not. I believe it was his 199th start. He'd never done it.
I'm surprised by that.
Me too. He's had some games where he's thrown it around the yard.
Definitely. I mean,
even the last
he's
5
not a
years.
dink and dunker guy. No. So I'm shocked. So he must have a ton of games in the high 300s.
That has to.
He has to.
Slick 701 weighing in here.
This is good.
If everyone's saying, why did the Niners pay Brock Purdy when Mac Jones is doing the same thing, Can't the same be said for Joe Burrow and Uncle Flacco? I know Joey B is the man, just generally speaking.
Yeah, no, first off, I love this question. I love it. First off, I want to go, wait, who's been saying why did they play Brock Purdy? Because all I've done is deal with mentions and hate and everything on social media for the last 2 years when I've been going, don't pay Brock Purdy too much. Everybody telling me I'm an idiot. Now everybody's like, oh, they shouldn't have paid him too much. That's what I freaking hate. I wanted to swear for real there.
We're on YouTube.
About
You're doing great.
I know, thank you. But
Tomorrow
that's
we'll
what
get
I
it all
hate
out.
about sports media right now. It's just like we fight for one thing forever and then it changes the other way and we act like we never said that and we just flip over the conversation. Like we never even said this other part. How could they pay Brock Purdy? Right? Chris Sims is an idiot. He's saying don't pay Brock Purdy. Hey, they paid Brock Purdy. Don't give Chris Sims any credit. Let's just crap on the 49ers and everything there. I mean, what? It's all over the place. All right? First off, yeah, the point was all along, the 49ers are awesome. Shanahan makes every quarterback look good. Every quarterback. As you brought up, Nick
Mullins is my favorite one.
Right.
I'll never let it go.
His first 9 starts were like Kurt Warner and Peyton Manning. They were up there with that, right? It was incredible. So, yes. Now, Flacco is amazing, no doubt. He's in a spot here where, yeah, he can capitalize. My fight back to you, Zlick701, would be that if Joe Burrow played yesterday, he would have thrown for 520 and he would have thrown for 5 touchdowns and no interceptions, and they would have won the game. Right? That's what I would argue. So Flacco can make the highlight plays, but Flacco's also going to make the low light plays that Joe Burrow doesn't make. And that's what's amazing about Joe is, yeah, he doesn't turn the ball over. He doesn't do any of that, let alone off of that. Joe will make a few more backyard plays. Joe's ability to move, as you know, is very much underrated and I always call him a slippery son of a bitch. That's what I call him, Slippery Joe. He moves around and does that, all that. So I hear your point, but yeah, I still think the results will be a little better with Joe Burrow.
I think the combo is you pay the guys that are the upper echelons of the quarterback of the NFL.
Yeah.
So, like, he's been hurt, but Burrow's pretty close there to Josh Allen, Mahomes,
Definitely.
Lamar. Like, we talk about them together. That's what we do in sports media.
That's right. They're on the Mount Rushmore.
With Brock Purdy was not that.
No.
And this is why Dak Prescott's been criticized a lot before this season.
Exactly right.
Dak Prescott was not playing up to what he was paid. Dak's been amazing this year and making a lot of people eat it.
Right.
And credit to him.
Right.
But the problem is, do you pay the middle-class quarterbacks because they get paid like the upper echelons
That's what we're trying to fight here, right?
Right.
We're trying to fight
the
that.
Dolphins hate Tua's contract right now because they just did this.
Right. That's
so this is you need to make sure your quarterback is not a middle-class quarterback being paid like a top-5 quarterback.
Exactly right. That's just the problem with a lot of football teams, and this is what we've tried to fight back. And this is why I was saying this about Brock Purdy and all that. And yes, Tua. And even as good as Jared Goff is. Again, I don't think he should be paid like Mahomes or Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. No. We've gotten into, like we've talked about a million times, next guy up, he gets paid as much. And it's like, what?
It can't be that easy.
Dak Prescott, yes, he's having the great year this year, but the last few years before that have not warranted him being the highest paid quarterback in the sport. And yes, we're watching teams ruin themselves by just paying the quarterback because he's the next guy up. And as you've heard me say a million times, like, you like with Tua especially, you can't pay this guy and go, hey, he's the highest paid guy on our team, and then he's the biggest question mark in every big game. That doesn't make sense. Like you've heard me say, the Giants never went into a big game back in the day. We're like, we're worried about Lawrence Taylor today. We're not sure he can handle this.
Right. Like
then he's not your best player on your team.
Right.
That's what I would say. So why are you paying him like that? That's not the way that conversation should go down. And that goes down a little bit. Jordan Love. Awesome. I like Jordan Love. Does he deserve to be paid like those guys? I would say no. I'm sorry. Not quite there, right? Still awesome. I get you, but not in that class. And I think, yes, there's just a little too much of that for our liking in the NFL.
Our next game, the Broncos beat the Texans 18-15. Chris, what's the headline?
Ooh, Bo Nose comeback.
He certainly does.
Are you old enough to know the Bo Nose commercials?
Yeah, I know it really from circling back.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't a big part of my childhood.
Okay. It was a big part of my childhood. But yeah, I mean, the Broncos, a reflection of their coach, which is just tough. We don't ever give up. We keep fighting. I don't think Sean Payton's ever gotten the credit he deserves for his physical nature his teams usually play with. This was tough sledding yesterday. I mean, you know what I think of this Texans defense. This Texans defense, I say it every week, they can almost win games by themselves.
They try.
They do.
Yeah.
They try. I feel bad about C.J. Stroud. It felt like a game where the Texans, in all honesty, I felt like they were going to win the game if C.J. Stroud stays in the game. I do. That's what I felt. Now, again, I know that's, hindsight or 2020 or whatever else, but Davis Mills certainly takes something away from their offense. He didn't do a bad job, don't get me wrong, but he's not capable of making some of the plays that C.J. Stroud is making. That's unfortunate. But the Broncos just hang around, stay within one score, and then their Bo Nix, who's just got no fear coming down the stretch of a football game. He makes a few plays with his arms and his legs, and all of a sudden they're right back in this thing.
They win the game on a 34-yarder by Will Lutz as the clock hits 0. The Broncos outscored Houston 11-0 in the fourth quarter, which is kind of how they've been doing it this year. It's the Broncos' 6th straight win. That's tied for the Patriots right now for the longest active win streak in the NFL. Of course, like you said, Chris, C.J. Stroud leaving with that concussion was a big factor in this one. Houston, 0 touchdowns on 3 red zone possessions. They punted on their final 6 possessions.
The first drive of the game, I mean, the Texans also missed a field goal, right? The Texans on the first drive, or one of the first drives of the game, got in there, got down inside the 5-yard line and had to settle for a field goal. Certainly had that. The Broncos dropped a punt at the end of the first half. They had the ball inside the red zone there to score a touchdown. They have to settle for a field goal, right? They had another, a really good punt return when they were up 12-7 that set them up with a good field position, and they had to settle for a field goal again that way. So, yeah, Houston's offense continues to be a problem. Their run game's not, they need C.J. Stroud. They need C.J. Stroud, and they need to do what we talked about last week, which is, I think, what they were going to do yesterday. Short passes, be surgical, and do that. But, him getting hurt disrupted that, and, yeah, they're just not good enough on the offensive side of the ball to overcome it.
Bo Nix, 10-17 for 78 yards and a touchdown. No turnovers in the fourth quarter.
Right.
So he really flipped the switch in the fourth quarter, played efficient football, took care of the ball as the Broncos continue their winning ways, as do the New England Patriots, who beat the Falcons 24-23 off that missed extra point. What's the headline for this one, Chris?
Ooh, it's Halloween. It's the ghost of Patriots past.
Boy, it felt like it.
I mean,
The
it really
freaky,
did.
Weird, just
Right.
Yes.
Like,
Belichick
I
roaming
felt
the
like
halls.
the Patriots, like in the Brady Belichick era, would have like one of these games every year where you were like, hey, wait, they're playing good. They're controlling the game. Wait, the other team made a few plays or whatever. Whoa, they might be able to steal the game up here in New England and beat Brady and Belichick in New England? Oh, they missed what? They dropped the ball? They missed a chip shot field goal? They missed the extra point? I mean, that's what it felt like. It's like Patriot mystique is back. Watch out. That's what you really like. And listen, I don't think there's any doubt in my mind. The Patriots are the better football team yesterday. The Patriots did some things we haven't seen the Patriots do a little bit. I felt like the Patriots' way to attack this game was a little bit like we talked about with Cleveland last week. Just don't let the other team's defense win the game, right? Atlanta is dangerous enough on that side of the ball to where you just go, if you have to err on conservatism, do that, because they can make some freaking plays that can screw everything up. And they're up 21-7. They're playing really good in the first half. And I think they got greedy. Yeah. And this is where the whole game changed. 21-7 late in the first half, gets strip sacked by the 2 rookies, right? Jalen Walker, and then Pierce picks it up, the 2 first-round picks. And that sets them up for a short field to go into the half at 21-14 and feeling pretty good, even though they were pretty much dominated in the first half of the football game.
It didn't feel close at all, but it was. And you had the interception in the third quarter where it's 24-14. Like, Atlanta just kind of hung around off of careless giveaway.
I think so. Drake May throws the ball high, right? I don't know. Are you looking at that play right now?
I have the play open right now.
Did he have the guy open over the middle here?
Kind of. Like, I understood where he was going, but he airmailed. He airmailed this pass.
This is one little flaw sometimes with his. Yeah, it was a tight window. He tried to rip it, and it looks like he lost control of it, and it went high on him. Jesse Bates, Mr. Velcro hands, catches it as usual.
Single high right there, like he fields a punt.
He's amazing. He's amazing that way. But, yeah, even there, that was a moment of, again, you're controlling the football game. Do you make that type of decision in that moment? Hey, he'll figure that out today. He's been spot on with aggressive decisions and aggressive throws. He hasn't missed many of those throws there. But, yes, it felt like those 2 mistakes kind of led or helped Atlanta jump back into the football game, because they're even in that interception, right? They're past midfield. They're kind of moving the ball, and you're going, they're going to kick a field goal here, and they're going to go up even more, at least a field goal.
27-14.
Right, could have been 27-14, and you felt like that would have been enough. But either way, Atlanta gets the field goal. They make it 24-17. And then, as we know, Michael Penix finally puts a drive together. You look at Atlanta, and you go, I mean, they had 2 drives the whole game. Maybe their first touchdown drive, which, again, was only a 53-yard drive, and then the drive at the end of the football game. Their offense is still frustrating
Drake
as
London
hell.
just goes nuclear.
Right.
Spectacular play after spectacular play.
Yeah, what was it? I mean, I think there was 4 one-hand catches.
Yeah, Bijan would have been like the Drake London was just going airborne every single time. It felt like
right.
Spectacular play.
So that didn't run the ball.
No.
Very good.
No, Bijan was all through the air.
I know Michael Penix is going to look at it, and we're going to go, he threw for 3 touchdowns. But they were like 3 one-yard touchdown passes, or one of them was 6 yards, okay, or 8 yards, all right? But still, that offense didn't look the way I want it to look. Clunky.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. There's never a flow or a rhythm. We haven't really seen it since the Buffalo game. It feels like a little bit of a collection of plays. And again, what I'm interested too is I didn't feel like they did play action again yesterday.
We'll definitely pull that out.
Yeah, so that would be interesting to me too. But man, Atlanta's got more talent than a 3-5 football team. To go 1-10 on third down with Michael Penix as your quarterback and those guys that they got, Bijan, Drake London, and Pitts, that's inexcusable. That really is.
Well,
so,
this makes it more strange. You bring up a great point with the play action. They had 8 dropbacks of play action. He was 5 of 8 for 85 yards. He averaged almost 11 yards per play action attempt.
I don't know,
so why
just call play action every play?
Why not? How do you not have 14?
Exactly right.
Action?
That would be
doesn't make any sense
Just
to me.
do it all the time and have the drop back be the change up. I don't understand that either. There is no. I think your word was right. There's no flow. There's no rhythm. There's nothing. You don't feel like they're tying anything together in Atlanta at times. And that's a disappointing loss. A loss that I look at and go, man, in the NFC, that might be you might be disqualified.
Yeah,
you might be. I mean, the NFC is going to be tough. So they got a lot of work in front of them right now.
That was Give Me the Headlines presented by Hyundai. We're taking one more break. When we're back, Matthew Stafford is scorching hot, but is he the NFL MVP right now? Right after this.
DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the app and use promo code CORNERBACK when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
Let's take a look at the MVP odds, courtesy of DraftKings. Josh Allen, after the win over the Chiefs, kind of flips the board here, Chris. He's now plus 180 as the favorite. Mahomes at plus 350. Drake May, obviously, right in the mix here at plus 425.
Jonathan Taylor's just off the list now, huh?
It's amazing. How
one
if
game.
you're a non-quarterback, if you have one nondescript game, you fall into oblivion.
It is. I mean, it is amazing that way. I mean, I also look at it in some ways too, and just go, wait, the Chiefs are 5-4, and Patrick Mahomes is second on the list. And like again, and having a good year, but you're not like, oh my gosh, wow. This to me is where MVP is. It's become too much of the quarterback award.
Popularity.
It's become too much of like a quarterback, just on a team that we think can maybe go to the Super Bowl. We're just going to keep them in the conversation forever, right? And that's what I don't understand a little bit. Like, how is Matthew Stafford not above?
I'm with you all the way.
Right. And how is he not above Mahomes, Josh? I mean, really, even
he should
Drake,
be tied with.
He should be
Josh
Mahomes
Allen.
and Drake May. He should be ahead of them. That's what I'll say.
Yes.
Josh Allen, okay, I can see that. But I would still argue even that. This year, right now, I mean, the Rams, they're one of the best teams in football. If Cardi could kick the ball up in the air more than 5 feet, like they beat Philadelphia in Philadelphia. Yeah. If Kyron Williams doesn't fumble on the 1 foot line, they're going to beat the 49ers. They're inches away from being undefeated. And he's on fire, leading the league in touchdowns, top 5 in passing yards, right? I've never seen a quarterback that gets disrespected more than Matthew Stafford.
Well, Cressman Orcutt here with a take that I think you and I both fully sign off on. He said, can the national media finally admit that Matthew Stafford is the MVP currently? 21 touchdowns, 2 interceptions with 113 rating. If they had any special teams help, like you just said, Chris, he'd have them 8-0.
Yeah.
I think I'm with you all the way. I think he's the best value on the board. If I was pricing this, I'd have him and Josh Allen plus 200 as a pick 'em.
Yeah.
And then everyone under that.
Got you. I would have no problem with that. Those two, to me, right now, should be in the leader house. That's where they should be. And it's just really, I mean, even like Stafford yesterday, he throws a no-look 25-yard in-cut on the money. He's looking over here. He throws it like this on the money. National media, nobody even plays the freaking highlight. Nobody cares. If Mahomes or Josh Allen or Lamar did that, they'd be like, look at this no-look pass. We're going to show it to you 74 times so you could just see it and see it and see it. And we're going to play it Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. And Matt Stafford invented the freaking no-look pass, and he can't ever get any credit for it. Matt Stafford brings his team back from 10 in the Super Bowl with one dime after another, and it's just Cooper Kupp with nobody else healthy at receiver. And we go, let's give the MVP to anybody but Matthew Stafford. Anybody. I mean, not him, not Matthew Stafford, not him. And then there's other quarterbacks that won the MVP where I go, he was like the 10th best player on your team today, and he got the MVP? Like, I just don't get it at times. It's disrespectful. But, man, there was an ass whooping they put on the Saints yesterday.
I think Stafford, him playing his first 12 seasons in Detroit is going to be one of the biggest what-ifs in football history.
Yes.
Like, I think people forget he got to the Rams at age 33.
I know. And won a Super Bowl his first year. The first year he had team support, he wins the Super Bowl, right? And they're right back in the Super Bowl mix this year. They were in the Super Bowl mix last year, and he's played awesome. Yeah. I mean, what if? What if you put anybody on the Detroit Lions team that he had to play that could never run for 100 yards, never had a 1,000-yard rusher, never had a top 20 defense? I mean, come on. It's just like, let's get over it and move on. He's awesome. He was in a shit situation, and now he's shitting on everybody else, literally.
And he continues to. The Rams beat the Saints 34-10. Matthew Stafford, most touchdown passes in a 2-game span in Rams history. He has 9 in 2 games. He obviously had 4 in this one. 21 passing touchdowns on the season, as we mentioned.
I think they're going for it with him here. I think they know, and I think the Rams are even sick of this. I think the Rams are going to get down to the 2-yard line and go, let's just throw a touchdown pass for him. Let's get him the MVP. He's been an MVP forever, and let's justify. I get a feeling they're almost backing this. They're gonna
I like it.
Push it without sacrificing a win or a game. But I think they're gonna do their best to prop him up a little bit.
I'll tell you a guy who helps.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams in the red zone this year has 7 catches. They're all touchdowns. All 7 of them.
McCourty last night was like, he's 1-yard touchdown catches. He's got to be leading the league or something like that.
Been doing it forever.
He's amazing down there. He knows how to set people up.
That's the thing. It's the releases.
It's the releases.
Yeah.
He's as good as it gets in that department, and Puka Nacua, I know he got banged up, but they said he could have came back if that game was competitive. Tyler Shuck, tough spot to start there, playing that defense and that offense and everything about it. I expect the Rams to go into overdrive right here and really start to turn it on.
My Rams take is they should just say screw it and trade for another wide receiver at this deadline. So when you go 11, and Puka's been banged up a lot, so it also protects you. Right. But when you go 11 personnel, Puka, Devontae, and Rashid Shaheed.
Oh, my gosh.
Seriously.
Night. I listen,
how
you
do you
know me.
that?
I'm all about elite. Do something elite, make it so great that the team you're playing has to change everything they do. Like even their offense has to change because they're like, we got to keep up with their offense. Our defense is good, but nobody can keep up with this, right? That to me, I wouldn't mind. I mean, to me, it's maybe something like that, or maybe a corner. Right?
Yeah, well, he's in the division, so it wouldn't be Reek Woolen.
But something like that, right? I mean, that's the only thing I could look at. Is my only question mark with them is can they play man-to-man in some big moments, right? Like we saw with the 49er game. They just got picked apart with zone play after zone play, right? That's what you worry about. But, I kind of like your thought about the receiver thing there.
Be interesting.
Yeah.
They have an extra first-round pick in this draft. I don't think they'll trade that, but it makes you able to trade the day 2 capital with your 2 first. I think they're going to do something. For the Saints, this is the worst start since 1980. They're 1-8. Tyler Shuck, 15-24, 176 passing yards, a touchdown and a pick in his first NFL start. Yeah. Did you see anything there?
Yeah, nothing.
Just kind of hard to evaluate.
Yeah, it's hard and nothing special.
Right.
Nothing opened my eyes there. But yeah, again, there couldn't be a worse place to start your career than that game right there.
Sunday Night Football, the Seahawks absolutely blow the doors off of the Commanders in this one, 38-14. This game was never close. Justin Mortensen weighing in. I kind of wish the Seahawks game was close so you guys would talk about them. No, you don't. Be happy your team's kicking ass. Sam Darnold in the first half. There's not many first half stat lines like this in the history of the game. 16-16, 282 yards.
It's incredible.
4 touchdowns, no picks. Obviously a perfect passer rating at 158.3. Seattle led 31-7.
He was on a heater.
He couldn't miss.
He really fits this offense perfectly. I tried to say this last night on the pregame show. Right. To me, this is where, and Collinsworth showed it too. I mean, the offense is just perfect for him. We've always talked about how gifted of an intermediate passer he is, right? So play action pass, come up. He's got an incredibly quick release. Boom, bomb. There's Jackson Smith and Jigba. There's Cooper Kupp, whoever it may be, right? So he's great at that. And then a lot of times those plays, right, it's like 1-2, check down. Right? So it kind of just sets it up for you to where you can't hold the ball too long. There's really not much to think about. And then the other thing I think that suits them, and Collinsworth showed this too, was when they do their drop back pass game where it's different than Minnesota. Because Minnesota wants to throw the ball down the field, and he would sit there and pat the ball, and sometimes he'd stay on somebody too long, and he'd get strip sacked or something like that. Right. And he hasn't through his career been the best down the field thrower. But this team sets it up to, we're going to run it, intermediate pass game, we're going to abuse it, and then we'll take the occasional shot down the field. And it just suits him that way. So even when they drop back the pass, it's like he looks for a guy that's 10 yards to his left. And then there's another guy that's coming over the middle at 8 to 10 yards. And then the guy to his right, his third read, is at 8 to 10 yards. So it's all in his wheelhouse, I guess is what I'm trying to say on the offensive side of the ball. And the other thing is just, Jackson Smith and Jigba is awesome.
Unbelievable.
He's officially, for me, reached Puka, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase level.
Yeah.
He's incredible. But to our question here and our man Justin Mortensen, I said this on Dan Patrick last week. I've said this on a few radio. Michael Kay on ESPN. I go on with him every week. They've asked me, who's your team? Who's a team that, nobody's given enough credit for? I have said over the last, Seattle could go to the Super Bowl this year. I think Seattle is in the Super Bowl window. I know I'm in the minority in that, but there's no question a playoff team. I think they're Super Bowl caliber. The defense is Super Bowl caliber. They're running the ball and good enough at the offensive line to keep you honest in that department. Yep. And, of course, what we're seeing in the pass game is real, too. I think they got a mojo going. It would not be surprising to me if we sat there on Championship Sunday and we were like, the Seattle Seahawks are here. Don't be surprised.
One of my favorite storylines of the NFL season. On the other side, it just gets worse for the Commanders. Jaden Daniels, dislocated elbow on his non-throwing side in the fourth quarter. Did you find it weird he was in the game? There's a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking going on with this right now.
Yeah.
I see it both ways.
I know. I mean,
the problem is they punted on the previous possession at the 50, which signals you were done.
The game was over.
That's my I think that's a valid argument that he shouldn't have been in the game.
I would err in those situations. I know you want to fight, and a lot of times your quarterback goes, hey, I want to stay in there with my guys and do that. And at times, too, you go, wait, we want to get something positive going to filter into next week a little bit. There's that as well. But this is where, you got to save yourself from yourself a little bit. And the game was over. Dan Quinn was playing for, let me just make the scoreboard look a little bit better. So when we look at it at the end of the year and they look at it, the owner will go, well, they only lost 38-21 or 38-24. And that, to me, is the problem with the whole situation. But Washington stinks, and they're going to continue to stink. Their defense is pitiful. We've kind of been on it. It's pitiful.
They don't have talent.
They don't have talent, and they're not really that creative with what they do in the scheme-wise, too. You heard me say last week, it's cover 1 or it's Tampa 2. That's all they do. It's man-to-man or Tampa 2. And they just try to disguise those two coverages. They're the oldest team in football by quite some margin, right? So, Washington, and last year was a weird year. They got a little lucky last year. But, Jaden Daniels being out and the state of their defense, I don't really give them any chance to get back in the mix at all.
Marshawn Lattimore believed to have torn his ACL. Luke McCaffrey broke his collarbone, so the injury list gets longer for the Commanders. Our next one was a surprising thriller. I love this game. Jacksonville beating the Raiders 30-29. The end of the game was Devon Hamilton batting down Geno Smith's 2-point conversion. I like that the Raiders went for the win. You have nothing to lose.
Totally.
The game's over. Like, it would have ended in a tie if you just kicked the extra point.
All right, so look
left.
at this for me, all right, because I've been wondering this, and so you're the perfect person here. First off, I mean, crazy game. The game was 9-6 in the fourth quarter, and it ended up 30-29.
Brock Bowers came alive.
Brock Bowers is insane.
I haven't seen a tight end move like that.
I think he got even better, right?
I thought so, too.
I mean, there was a few times when he was running the ball, and I was like, wait, who is that? I was like, he looks really fast. And I was like, holy shit, that's Brock Bowers?
Yeah.
Like, it looked like a legit receiver. But the 2-point play, check this out for me. Because I thought the play they called, it was for Brock Bowers. I thought Brock Bowers is open on the right side. It's a little reverse curl. We would have called it a swirl route, maybe a 7-stop, some people might call it, right? And he just gets in the end zone and turns around, and there's a little window, and I feel like Geno never gave it a chance, and then he went back to the left side. That was, I thought it was there, and maybe you could tell me here as we go here. I could see you're pulling it up. Bowers is right there.
This is the 2-point play.
Yeah, he's at the traditional tight end spot here. Okay, they're going to run in. Boom. Does he not have him right here, like right after this? Right after this.
Oh, because he's cutting it back in.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Geno just got, which is weird because Geno holds the ball as much as anybody in the league.
It feels like Geno went, wait, it's a big play. There's no way they'll let Brock Bowers catch the ball again. And he predetermined, and he didn't give him a chance.
And it almost looks like Bowers is actually trying to set up a rub on the linebacker for Myers.
It's a double whammy.
Yeah.
So it's Myers first. Look at him. And if Myers isn't there, that means there's a hole inside because that guy's got to give. Right.
Wow,
and
that's shocking.
To me, it looks like he could have just put it right on his body about a yard in the end zone, and he would have caught it, and they would have won the football game.
Now, 17 is wide open.
Yeah,
wide open.
He is in the back of the end zone,
but
right?
the ball gets batted down. Great play by Hamilton. Yeah. And that's the game.
Yeah, that is.
And that's a shame because Geno really turned it on in the second half. But
yes, he did.
Nevertheless, massive win for Jacksonville. That's, obviously fighting for their season week after week. They've had some big wins. They had to have this one.
They got a little toughness that way. 68-yard field goal, right?
The NFL record.
Right, I know. NFL record. They ran the ball well in the second half. That they got back to that. Trevor Lawrence definitely, had a few moments, as we know. Yeah, it's the same thing with Trevor Lawrence. I feel like every week there's some good, but there's also some what you did that, or man, you didn't feel that in this situation, right? There's just something there. But either way, they get the win, and good for them on the road.
Our next one, the Chargers beat the Titans in a game that was way closer than anybody expected, just 27-20. The Chargers allowed over 200 yards of total offense, they allowed 206 yards of total offense, no offensive touchdowns. Yeah. So the defense was fine. It was just a lot of weird plays in this game. And Justin Herbert was sacked 6 times. That's tied for the most in his career.
Yeah. Well,
so Tennessee's special teams and defense actually, they kept them in it.
They're better than people realize, right? It's just the offense is so bad, it makes the defense look bad at times because it's just like we can't be out there the whole game, every game, right? That's really what happens to them. But they're a serviceable defense. But when you throw a pick six and you have a punt returned on you,
Right.
I don't give a crap who you are. You're going to be in a dogfight in the NFL.
Yeah.
And that's all there was to it. I mean, the game was 14-7. Tennessee's offense did nothing, and they had a special teams and a defensive touchdown. Right, I thought Justin Herbert played phenomenal, but yeah, they had to play kind of catch-up football, and they never really got to, I think, get into their balanced run attack and play that way. But man, Herbert's been amazing that way. And then, couple that with they make the goal line stand early fourth quarter and then go on a 99-yard touchdown drive to kind of put the game away. That was the big moment of the football game. Good win for the Chargers, but damn, Joe Alt getting hurt once again.
Could need surgery.
I mean, yeah, I'm bet. I mean, it's his second high ankle sprain of the year. This is where your things get loose, ligaments get loose. So we'll see where that goes. But yeah, man, the Chargers, Justin Herbert plays awesome. That pass defense, as we know, is awesome. That's for sure. But I guess the thing with the Chargers is just how good are they?
I know.
Right? Like, I think they're a playoff team, right?
Right, but they had this game against Miami as well.
I know. Are they going to be one and
why
done?
are you in these games?
Yeah, I know. And then that's going to be the big thing here going forward. But, man, I do like the way Justin Herbert played yesterday.
For Cam Ward, fourth game this season with no passing touchdowns. So it's been a tough situation for the rookie.
Yeah, and Calvin Ridley, I mean, would they trade him? That'll be
he's healthy. That'll be because you move on to DK and Io Manor and just see what you have.
Exactly right.
Ridley's not going to be on that team next year.
It doesn't sound like it.
No,
He's not. This regime didn't sign him. Right, he's got a pretty big payday that's not quite being justified right now. What do you get? 4 years, $90 million, something like that, right?
You pay down some of it and move on from some of it.
So yeah, I wouldn't. That wouldn't shock me. I would certainly think that he'd be dangled out there for a few teams to come and get.
Our last game, the Niners beat the Giants 34-24 at MetLife. That was taken over by 49er fans.
Man, it was.
It was. I mean, the players on the Giants after the game were saying they needed to do like silent count, and the noise was bothering them.
You could hear it. I mean, there was one point in the first quarter where I went, "Whoa, that's the 49ers fans." And then here's another. So Shanahan, he's in town. I'm rooting for the 49ers yesterday. It's one of the rare days I don't root for the Giants, right? But I had to get some tickets for some friends, and Shanahan was out of tickets, right? Even the coach, he only gets so many tickets. Like, everybody just thinks if you know somebody in the NFL, you must get free tickets. And it's like, no. The owners did not become billionaires by giving away hundreds of thousands of dollars of tickets every game. That doesn't happen. The players get 2 free tickets on the road, and then everything else you got to pay. The coach probably got 5 or 8,
so I think the top execs, at least people I've asked, get 4.
Yeah, 4, right.
And I'm talking like top of the food chain. I'm not talking about
like
the area
the GM,
scouts.
the head coach. I guess those kind of. I know that's something people don't realize. And I have people ask me like, "Oh, yeah, can you get tickets? I want to go to the." And it's like, "Yeah, okay, but I have to pay. You know that you got to pay. You don't." And it's like, "Yeah. What do you think? They're just like if I'm asking for free tickets, how many people do you think else would be asking for free tickets? Right. So that's the thing. But I knew during the week it was kind of happening because I reached out to the Giants. Because I had some friends that wanted to go to the game. And I was like, yeah, I think I should be able. They sent me a list of like, hey, we have these section available, this section available. And as the week, all of a sudden on Friday, I got a text like, hey, we're running out of tickets. Like, where do you want to buy? Which ones do you want to buy? Like, we're down to the last few. And I literally said to my wife, I was like, oh, the 49er fans have come into town. Like, they're coming, right? But so either way, 49ers, Mac Jones didn't throw an incompletion to the start of the third quarter. Does that say enough for you? I mean, Christian McCaffrey ran the damn ball. And how dare the 49ers and Shanahan do that to the Giants on Phil Simms' bobblehead day?
Oh, man.
What a bunch of jerks.
Oh, man.
The day before his birthday. Today's Big Phil's birthday. He's
Happy
70
birthday,
today.
Big Phil.
The big effer, 70 years old, right? You see the bobblehead there. But, yeah, that was
a good bobblehead.
I know.
That's a really good bobblehead.
Pretty quality. Florio said he looked more like Jackson Dart than Phil Simms. And
maybe that's what they were going for.
I know, maybe
capitalize on the popularity.
Maybe it was. But man, that 49ers offense was rolling yesterday. That's for sure. I mean, the Giants, no Jackson Dart leading rusher. Jackson Dart, hey, made some plays. Certainly
Absolutely did.
He's a playmaker. He is. My question with the Giants right now is he's delivering more for the offense than the offense is delivering to him. That's what I would say, right? I mean, there's just not many in-rhythm throws. Everything's make a move, boom, 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 make a throw, blah, 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 all that. But, man, the defense disappointing. Just to get steamrolled like that in the pass game and run game, not good for Giants.
A lot of chatter around Dexter Lawrence in this team right now, but it's bigger than just him.
Yeah, of course it is. Like, I don't know why Carl Banks said that. I wouldn't have said that. Carl likes to clap back on social media at times. He's clapped at me before with some of the Jalen Hurts stuff I said. I don't hear about him when Jalen Hurts doesn't throw the ball for 100 yards for 10 weeks in a row. But when he has a good game, he likes to clap a little bit that way. But, like, what the problem with that, with Carl Banks is, first off, Dexter Lawrence is one of the 3 best defensive tackles in football. So it's like, well, why say that? He's still awesome. Is he having as good a year as last year? Okay, no. But it's still amazing. He's leading the NFL in double teams.
Right.
I mean, that's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. And then the problem when you're the radio guy for a team and you make a comment like that, this is where, to me, it's dicey because players are going to go, what coach told him that? Right? That they're going to go, he's on our team playing. He's around us all the time.
Yeah.
Somebody must have gotten in his ear and said that. Right? And that's what's going to piss the players off too. So that's not cool. But, man, Dexter Lawrence is still amazing.
Tough 49er injury news. It's been the season of 49er injury news. Michael Williams left with a knee injury.
Doesn't look
They're
good.
preparing for a torn ACL.
Right.
I mean, talk about a team that also probably has to make a move on defense. Maybe 2 moves.
I wonder what they'll do. Or do they just go, screw it, we're not going to the Super Bowl this year. We'll just see if we can hold it down and hold our picks. And because their whole thing this year was get the books the right way and let's start to build a new era of 49ers football. So, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I don't know what the approach there will be either. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't view them as a Buffalo Rams kind of team, like push all the chips in.
Right.
So,
wait, hold on. I want to see these. Yeah. You can't write Happy Birthday Big Phil and give a pop quiz and then erase it at the end of the show.
No, we're doing this one. All right, the Big Phil pop quiz.
Okay.
Keeping the 70 theme for Big Phil's 70th birthday. Who did Phil throw a 70-yard touchdown to versus the Cowboys in 1985? Here's a little hint. It was the second longest touchdown of his career after an 80-yard touchdown to Stephen Baker.
Stephen Baker was in 1990 against the Washington Redskins Commanders. I was actually at that game in Washington, right? I think my dad in that game might have had like an 80-yard touchdown and like a 75-yarder. In 85, wow, hold on. This is gonna be tough on me here because there's some guys here in the transition.
I think you'll be surprised.
Yeah, we'll be surprised.
Yeah, I think you'll be surprised, or like kind of like, oh wow,
it is a receiver.
I don't want to give you any more hints.
Damn, so it might be a running back. Like, is it like Joe Morris or is it Rob Carpenter? Oh, wait, hold on, don't catch you.
If I give you one more hint, you're probably gonna get it.
Damn, it's a tight end. No,
this player's son is currently in the NFL.
Holy crap! Now I'm really gonna choke my ass off here. Hold on a second. Hold on, this player's son. I am choking. My dad.
You're on the right path though when you started to ask me if it was not a wide receiver.
Right. It's tight end or
George Adams.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Jamal Adams' dad.
Yeah. People don't realize. My dad will tell you George Adams was going to be a superstar.
It was the injury, right?
Yeah, he had the hip. He had the weird Bo Jackson hip injury, basically, right? Before that even happened. He'll always tell you that. Man, wow, that was a good one, Pete. I like that. I choked under the pressure right there. When you said his son's playing, I was thinking, like, wait, he's got to be playing on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, no.
All right, so that
now linebacker, Jamal Adams.
Jamal Adams, linebacker. All right. And also happy birthday to the old host, Ahmed Fareed.
That's right. Happy birthday, Ahmed.
Happy birthday, Ahmed. Happy birthday, November 3rd, Big Phil. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the YouTube live show. Connor, you the man. Thanks as always.
Yep.
All right, you know where to find us. Subscribe, rate, review. We're on here tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time, breaking down some film, right? We're going to get some more Bills-Chiefs discussion and some other things that were interesting. I'll deep dive into that. Come on, check us out. You know where to find us. Peace out, everybody. Have a good night. Enjoy the Monday Night Football game. Thanks, Connor. You the man.